Hey guys, I'm Caleb with Nebraska Farm Boy. Thanks for joining me on this first episode of Farm Boy in 30 Minutes. So for those of you who have been following the channel for a while, you guys are probably wondering, what on earth am I doing here? Am I going a completely different direction with the channel? Or am I, doing something weird? No, it's okay. It's all just basically the same thing that you guys have been seeing. It's just going to be a little bit different format. I'm going to try to do a little bit less edited, so it's just me, Caleb, and, there's not like a wall of editing between you and me. It's just me, as I am. So it might be a little bit painful to watch at certain points because I'm not like the smoothest speaker ever, but I just wanted to be more real. I wanted to be more real. And then the other thing that I wanted to change a little bit is, for one thing, I want it to be a little bit longer, Farm Boy in 30 minutes, so about 30 minutes. And then I also wanted to be able to take questions and topics that you guys put down below in the comments. So if you have one, please do leave that down below in the comments. I would really appreciate that. So basically, take those questions and topics and address those in the second part. I want these to be two-part shows. Okay, the first part I talk about what I think you guys want to hear. Second part I talk about what you guys actually want to hear. Okay, so the questions and whatnot that you put in. Okay, so this show, I didn't have any questions, I didn't have any topics that you guys had thrown in, so I'm just going with what I think you want to hear, but hopefully, if you guys leave some stuff down below in the comments in this video, I'll have something more for next time, okay? So, basically, the basic premise of this show is just to create a show that a farm boy would want to listen to while he was doing chores. That's all it is. So, hopefully a little bit longer. This will be available on podcasts. Right now, it's only available on Spotify because I'm still trying to figure out how to get it on all the other platforms, because I just figured out YouTube, kind of, and now I have to figure out podcasting, and nothing's easy. Anyways, so today what I want to talk about, we're coming up on 2024, and the New Year's can mean a lot of different things for a lot of different people. For some people, it means, putting the past behind and moving on for the future. For other people, it could mean you're going to start a diet that you aren't going to keep, or you're going to start a weight loss program that you know you're not going to fulfill. For some people, it is actually a good time to, get new goals, get new plans, to start new things. I think that the New Year can be a good time to do that, though if it wasn't good enough to start when you thought of the idea, you're going to wait till New Year's, it's not going to be good enough to start on New Year's. You have to start when you think of the idea. Anyways, that's not exactly what I want to talk about. What I wanted to talk about today was a little, I don't want to call it a ritual, but I don't really have a better term for it, but it's a little ritual that I do on around New Year's, not exactly on New Year's, but around New Year's, and it's just like a simple set of questions that I ask myself. So it's kind of like a self-evaluation, if you will. And so basically the questions focus on three areas. One, the man I was, the man I am, and the man I want to be. Okay, so basically it's kind of like I evaluate who I was last year, and then I just slowly move the questions in to where I want to be at the end of this next year. Okay, so let's just get started without me trying to explain all this. So the first question I like to ask is, are you different from last year? Have you changed? And that doesn't mean like a deep personality change or anything. What I mean is, have you grown, or have you gone backwards? Are you different? Okay, are you different at the end of this year? It's a pretty simple yes or no question. I can say for sure I'm different at the end of this year than I was at the beginning of last year. Okay, so the next question would be, is it for better or for worse? Okay, because it's kind of important. You don't want to not be different, because then you would have stagnated, and basically if you're not getting better, you're getting worse. Okay, so you don't want it to not be different, but if it is different, we have to decide, do we like the person we are this year better than the person we were last year, or do we kind of feel like last year was a wasted year? So for me, I feel like last year was a very good year. I feel like I have grown a lot over the last year, and I feel like by God's grace, I am a better man at the end of 2023, beginning of 2024, than I was at the end of 2022, beginning of 2023. So yeah, for me, yes, I feel like I am better than I was at the beginning of last year. Okay, so the next question would be, it's not really a question, it's kind of like, so you look for something that you did, that you weren't completely happy with about yourself throughout last year, something that maybe a fault of yours last year. And so basically try to find a fault, and then think of how you can improve on that throughout this next year. Okay, so what is something that you didn't like about yourself, or you don't like about yourself now, that wasn't fixed last year that you want to try to fix this year? Okay, so something you want to work on. So maybe for me, discipline. Maybe I want to be more disciplined throughout this next year. Like with working out, with how I do my work. Just using my time wisely, really. That's what I want to really work on throughout this next year. Just really being disciplined. And there's definitely more that I could go into, but I won't bore you with that. Just figure out what is something that you really want to focus on in this next year. Okay, I need to look at my questions because I did not have all these memorized. Okay, so I need to improve. Okay, so now we have a very broad question, okay? And it's not something that you should just answer at face value, because there's going to be several questions that stem off of this larger question. Okay, so the question is, who is the man or woman, depending on, you might be a farm girl listening to this Farm Boy podcast, but so who do you want to be at the end of next year? Okay, now that's a huge topic, It's not something that you can just say, I want to be perfect, and I want to be smart and intelligent and handsome, and that's not going to do you good. Okay, don't shoot for the moon. Let's get a realistic goal here. Okay, so obviously you want to be the best version of you that you can be, right? So so think of some practical ways that you can work towards that. Obviously, for instance, how do you want to grow in character? Okay, so like for me, I want to be there's so much that I could want to be, but I want to be more. I want to be more honest, and that might sound terrible, because it's not like I'm going around spewing out lies, but I want to be someone because I think that being dependable is also a part of being honest, because there's so many ways that you can lie, and it's not just with your words. Okay, so if I give the impression that I'm going to be there for you when things go south, or whatever, or when you're having a bad day, and let's just say you have a bad day, and maybe I'm having a bad day, and so I'm not there for you like you thought I was going to be. It's just I want to have an honesty and integrity, to be a person that people can depend on, people can trust my word, or my unspoken word, really. And I just want to be someone who always strives to do the right thing, And maybe that's a little bit too broad. It's not something that you should just come up with an answer on the fly. It's something that it's more about thinking through this than the actual answer. It's more about coming, just putting these questions through your mind. More so than just about the actual answer, really. So you have, how do you want to grow in your character? Okay, so how do you want to grow in your skill set? Okay, so I say this at the beginning of every year, so it's kind of terrible, but I want to be a better welder by the end of this year. I am pretty good at cutting metal. I can make knives and whatnot, but I'm a terrible welder. It's just ugly. And so I say that at the beginning of every year. We'll see how I do. But I want to do that. There's a lot of skills that I want to grow. I want to grow better in, this might sound weird, but I want to be a better driver. And it's not that I'm getting into car crashes all the time, but just with the occupation, the career that I hope to go into in the future, that will require quite a bit of driving. So I want to become a better driver. And it's going to be different for everybody, okay? So just think of different skills that you want to be working on, so that you can, so you're not wasting time, so that you know what you need to be doing, maybe when you have a little bit of free time or whatnot, so that you can be hey, this is what I need to be focusing on. This is what I want to grow and improve it, okay? So you have your skills, your character, you got your skills, then you have your assets, okay? So what are some assets that you want to have by the end of the year that you don't have now? And like, don't go too small on this. Like, don't say I want to get like a new pair of boots by the end of the year, okay? Or maybe that's really important to you. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm wrong. But like something like for me, okay? I want to have a small business by the end of the year. I want to have something that makes money for me while I'm not working on it. So like something like an online store that will sell things for me while I'm not actively working. So that's something that I want to have by the end of the year. I don't expect it to be like making a lot of money or maybe even not making any money, but I want to be working towards that goal. I also what else? I mean, like, there's a lot of things. Maybe I also want to be working towards getting a car because my parents don't pay for they don't pay for our car, which is pretty awesome because it means that we have to work to save up to buy a car. So I am a little bit old and I don't have my own personal car. I still borrow my parents' car when I need to do stuff. I pay them to use it, but I want to get my own car, okay? I want to be a little bit more, I don't know if self-sufficient is the right word, but just go with it, okay? I want to be a little bit more self-sufficient with that. Okay, so there are various assets that you want to be working towards, and the important thing, and the reason why you want to be thinking about this at the beginning of the year is because you're going to need to work to get those assets, okay? So it gives you a goal to be working towards, okay? So you're not just mindlessly working, maybe saving money. That's a great goal, but sometimes you need an actual tangible goal to be working towards, So that's kind of the questions I've been asking myself at the beginning of this year, and I'm sure there's more questions. If you guys had better questions, you have something that you do at the beginning of the year, I would be I think it would be super cool if you would share that down below in the comments. But yeah, that's what I've got for you. So basically, have you changed in the last year? Yes. And then was it for better or was it for worse? Okay, I'm gonna grab my questions again so I don't make a mistake. Okay, so and then what is an area that you need to improve in that you were not doing as well last year that you want to do better in this year? Okay, that's kind of character-wise. And then what kind of a man or woman do you want to be by the end of next year in character, in skills, and in assets? So that's kind of the questions that I've been asking myself at the beginning of this year. And I do have an announcement, and that is the 2024 push-up challenge. So this is kind of like the New Year's video, if you will. So at the beginning of this year, through January, I'm going to be doing 2024 push-ups, because it's 2024, 2024 push-ups throughout January. And it sounds really intimidating at face value, but really it's not that many push-ups. It's just if you take off Sundays, it comes out to be like 77, 78 push-ups each day throughout January. So basically round it up to 80. I'm hoping to do 100 every day. So basically the push-up challenge is just that. It's like you either somehow you get 2,024 push-ups in the month of January 2024, and then at the end of that, if you want to, or you don't necessarily have to, but if you want to, you can make a post, or better yet, a short of you doing your last 20 push-ups, or however many push-ups you're going to do in a set, and you can send it over to me, tag me. You can tag me in it at Nebraska Farm Boy, and I will share it, and I will tell you, good job. Okay, so basically that's what I'm going to do. If you want to join me in that, I think it's a easily attainable goal, and yet it still is going to be somewhat challenging because you do have to do push-ups pretty much every single day throughout January, or else you're not going to get them all done. Unless you're one of those guys who can do 1,000 push-ups in a day. And that's great. That's great. You are a better man than I. Anyways, so I really don't think, we're only at about 15 minutes here, but I didn't have a current topic to talk about. There is a little bit happening with the channel. This was one of the big announcements, this new show. Had a video taken down the other day. So that wasn't cool, but I appealed it, and YouTube actually said I was right. They said it wasn't wrong. So I went through a rather sad night, and then woke up in the morning and found YouTube, apologized, and put it back up. So, oh well, yay for that. So yeah, that's basically it. We're gonna continue on with the basic knife skills for the Protector. Probably doing a little bit more in the shorts feed, just because a lot of it's going to be just short, just little short tips throughout that, because we've covered a lot of the basics. If you guys did have any ideas, had any questions throughout that, I would really appreciate if you put those, if you posted a comment somewhere, either on one of those videos, or you could even put on this video. I read all the comments. Usually, unless they get lost, because I'm not the greatest with social media. But anyways, I do read all the comments, and I'll try to get back to you, or I will try to address it in a video. So I guess that's pretty much the housekeeping topics. And I won't keep you anymore. That's what we got today. Farm Boy in 30 minutes is only 15 minutes long today, but hopefully next time it will be 30 minutes, and it will be even better than it was this time. I want to thank you all for joining me throughout this time, and we will see you next time.